How's it going, YouTube? So I was watching a video the other day, and I can't for the life of me now remember uh, what the video was about. But reading in the comments below, it was about purchasing guns online. I think it was this whole Obama thing. Anyway, so one guy commented that in his state he doesn't need a background check because he has a CCW. Well, some libtard came back at him and said, that's ridiculous. I don't know what fantasy world you're living in, but I don't think that that's true or possible. So have a nice life living your fantasy or whatever it was. Once again, you could tell right away by his statement that he doesn't own firearms, hasn't researched firearm laws or anything like that. So this video is to set the record straight with Idaho. And I can tell you for a fact that in the state of Idaho, anywhere in the state of Idaho, if you have a concealed weapons permit, all you have to do is go to a gun store, an FFL, somebody that has an FFL license, and fill out the application without a background check. They do not have to call in the NICS system to do a background check on you. The reason for this is that when you get an FFL, you have already had a background check. You do not need to do it anymore as long as you hold that license. If that license is revoked, of course you need to do a background check because you no longer have a CCW, a concealed weapons permit, or a concealed carry weapons permit. Here it's a concealed weapons permit, CWP. So the guy in this video in the comments told him that. And he said, well, what if, you have broken the law and are no longer allowed to have a CCW before it expires? Well, again, if you do anything, break the law, and I believe it's federal, it's not minor, a federal law commit a crime using a firearm, you automatically lose your concealed weapons permit. They take it away. It is expired. They will physically take it from you. They don't let you keep it for a souvenir, look what I had. They will take it away to ensure that you do not take that permit and go buy a firearm without doing a background check. Because if you have committed a felony, you cannot buy a firearm. You cannot pass a NICS background check. So, setting the record straight, most of the people that watch my channel know this. And different states may vary. All I'm saying is here in Idaho, and I do know for a fact in several other states, Wyoming, Utah, Montana, is all the same. If you have a concealed weapons permit in those states, your local state, you can take that CCW, show it to your FFL. They love it. They don't have to call in. You fill out the paperwork. They ring you up, hand you the gun. They're done with business. They've made their money. They've sold their firearm. Every gun store that I have purchased a firearm through, and there has been at least dozens that I deal with. There is at least 5 I deal with on a continual basis when I buy firearms. The majority of my firearms are bought through a gun shop with an FFL. I can't think of maybe a couple that I've done personal trades or transactions with. When I do that and bring out my concealed weapons permit, they're happy as clams. I mean, they're almost relieved. They like the fact that people get the CCWs. Then they know that they are dealing with. They don't have to worry about the person they're dealing with because they've already been checked out. Um, they agree with concealed weapons permits, and they don't have to call it in and go through all that shit because it can take 20 minutes, it could take 30 minutes, it could take 3 days. After, if you are, if they say that you cannot release a firearm to this guy, we'll get back to you. They have to do some research, investigate, whatever. If the FFL does not hear back within 3 days, the FFL can sell you that firearm. That is the law in Idaho, and I'm pretty sure that is the law in all the other states, but for sure in Idaho. My best friend is an FFL. He has a gun shop. He is an I know his business. He has shared all this information with me. I have purchased many guns from him, and photocopy the driver's license, photocopy the CCW, fill out your paperwork, here's your gun, have a nice day, thank you, that was easy, done deal. So all the libtards out there, I'm sorry, all the liberal, people that just don't know about guns, I can't say liberals, because maybe some people are looking for information on factual stuff, and are doing research, and this video comes out. So for a fact in Idaho, if you have a concealed weapons permit, this is not fantasy. This is, you do not have to do a background check. The other thing I would say to CCW holders is, do not let your CCW expire. As long as your state is allowing them, you've already done the background check. In my state, it's another $50 to reinstate it. I don't have to do the background check again as long as it's not expired. As a matter of fact, when these whole gun situations were going on, mass shootings, I thought for sure they would really strongly go after legislation to do something to get rid of the CCWs in certain states. I wasn't really concerned about my state, but I was concerned about all the other states that I can travel to. So I actually reapplied for my CCW a year and a half before it expired, because I wanted to make sure that I was covered for, they're good for 5 years. I was coming down to having a year and a half left. I wasn't sure where we would be in a year and a half. So I actually renewed mine a year and a half in advance and got another 4 years out of it, plus the year, or 3.5 years plus a year and a half that my other one was still good. Piece of cake, $50. Go get. I can't remember if I had to get fingerprinted again, but I didn't have to do the background check. Actually, I'm sorry, I did have to do the background check, but it was done within 2 weeks. The first time I ever got a CCW, my first one in Oregon, took 45 days. Here in Idaho, when I did it, because I let my other one expire in Oregon, if I had just transferred it, it would have been a lot easier. But here in Idaho, it took, again, 45 days. I want to say 40 to 45 days, and I had it. Since then, I have kept it up over the years. I do not let it expire. It's kind of like your driver's license. Don't let it expire, so you don't have to go through the BS of retaking a test and all that crap. So anyway, just wanted to put that information out there, let people know that this isn't fantasy, this is fact. You do get to purchase firearms. I would recommend everybody to do it because it's so much stress relieving. I actually went in Idaho. If you go to another state, Wyoming, but in this instance it was Utah, it was around my birthday time, and I wanted a hunting rifle. So I went to Cabela's in Salt Lake, Utah, or just outside Salt Lake City, Utah. Found my rifle, awesome. Um, my CCW did me no good in another state for purchasing because they're only good for, that rule applies when you're buying within your state. If you're buying with outside your state, um, if it's a long gun, you have to do the paperwork, the NICS check, and all that. Um, and then you can have the long gun. If it's a pistol, though, and you're in another state, at least in our bordering states, Wyoming, Utah, Montana, um, Oregon, you have to have, you can purchase the gun there and then it is shipped to an FFL in your state and you can pick it up there. You cannot buy a handgun in another state and bring it across the border into your state. They have to ship it to an FFL, but long guns for sure. So anyway, I'm at Cabela's and I find this 7mm Magnum rifle. I think it was a Winchester Remington. I can't remember. Um, Loved the rifle. I mean, we spent an hour at Cabela's. I spent an hour looking at rifles and found the one I wanted. So I went and I filled out the paperwork. They went to do the NICS check. We waited 10, 15 minutes. Nothing. They couldn't get NICS on the phone. The system was down. So they said, go, go hang out, shop for whatever, half an hour. Come back in half an hour. They still can't get on. We had spent a total of 3 hours at Cabela's, and I did not get the gun because of the NICS system being down. So basically, I just told them, screw it, I don't want the rifle. I'm not going to wait any longer. I'll go to my state and find a rifle. And I ended up with my Remington 700 308, which is an awesome rifle anyway. So out of state, that kind of sucked. If it was in state and it went the way that I've always purchased guns, that NICS system being offline or down for whatever wouldn't even have anything to do with me purchasing a gun, handgun, long gun, anything, um, because I don't have to do that with my CCW. So anyway, just wanted to put that out there. Hope that clarifies some stuff, at least for Idaho. I'm pretty sure Wyoming, Montana are the same. Utah are the same for residents of the state. If they take their permit and they don't go to their gun shop, buy a gun, they don't have to do the background check. You still have to fill out the papers. They'll answer all the questions. The only thing is the FFL doesn't send it to anybody. They don't call anybody. They just put it in their files and that's it. They sell you the firearm. So hope that helps people that are looking for information. I hope that helps the libtards out there understand the gun laws in at least a few states. Information is power. And I see a lot of these gun lobbyists as weak and powerless because they have no knowledge of guns. So why would you even listen to anybody that would call a magazine a clip a magazine, just all this other bullshit that you hear on YouTube and hear people say in public, that they think they're experts because they've lived long enough and they've been around it. They're no kind of expert unless you are in to guns and do your homework. You are no expert. You should not make comments. If you've never read any piece of legislation or any laws on guns, you're the last person that should be commenting on any of that shit. If you don't know, don't speak. That's common sense. I believe in common sense. So try using some. Other people that are, if you're looking for information on guns, I hope that helps you all. I had to do all my homework. I know the gun laws here in Idaho. I know the gun laws in a lot of states because I travel to a lot of states and I carry guns in those states. If I'm on vacation, going on vacation, the first thing I do is get on the internet and go to their.gov, look up their gun laws, and find out what I can and can't do. Matter of fact, I'm going to be going to California in sometime in March or April, whatever, um, and had to look up their gun laws, and they suck. My CCW does not work there. I cannot carry there. I can have it in a locked box with the magazine out in my car. Um, it's just stupid. I mean, am I going to take my gun? Of course, I'm going to take my gun. I'm going to follow the laws, but the laws aren't going to help you. I grew up in California. I know what California is like. I hate to say it, but I am a Californian, um, and I thought I would never go back, but this trip is kind of forcing me to do so. Anyway, um, but I researched it. I looked into it. I know what the laws are. If I'm pulled over, I know exactly what the laws are. If a cop's going to try to intimidate me, harass me, do whatever, I can pretty much tell them, screw you, I know what the laws are and I'm abiding by it. You know, but then again, he can do whatever he wants, whatever. Um, so, anyway, that's my video. Hope it helped. Thanks for watching. Sorry it was a pretty lengthy video, but anyway, thanks for watching. Please rate, comment, subscribe, and we'll see ya.